And welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about Halfsword. I've played about 3 hours of it so far, so this isn't necessarily a review. More so like some early impressions I have of the game. If you want to see a full review, I suggest you go elsewhere. I'm just kind of talking about the basic game stuff and like what you can expect, that sort of thing. And for those who don't know, Halfsword is a medieval combat simulator developed by a small Georgian studio, and it's one of the most anticipated early access releases I think I've seen, which it launched today, January 30th, 2026. And I just wanted to give these developers some real credit since they delayed the game to improve the player experience, which is something that you don't really see a lot of these days, but I feel like they should have delayed it a little bit longer, but I'll get into that later. But at its core, Halfsword is built around authenticity, realism, the combat system, which was developed in collaboration with historical European martial artists, practitioners, and so on. And I really think it shows. The way the fights play out, the way you swing your sword, the equipment, all of it just feels very brutal and grounded. And nearly everything is driven by the physics-based simulation in this game, rather than just the traditional animations or, like, you know, stiff systems you see in, like, regular action games, right? My initial impressions are this. Halfsword doesn't have a traditional story or anything for you to follow, but instead, it's structured around a endless tournament where your story emerges organically through survival, experimentation, and skill development. Winning never feels scripted, and victory often feels like a happy accident or born out of mastery rather than a hand-holding design, if that makes sense, right? And the main meat of the game is its gameplay and combat systems. Combat functions more like a full physics simulation rather than an action game. You're not just pressing buttons, but you're actively controlling the character's body, weapon, and like the whole space you're in with your mouse and stuff like that. I will admit, the game does have a pretty steep learning curve to it, but once you kind of get it down, the game becomes incredibly fun and it just really clicks. It almost feels like learning a new sport, where failure is a part of the learning process. You have to learn about armor, you have to manage your weight, how much reach your weapon has, and also the handling of each weapon type that there is in the game. And these are all real mechanics, not just some cosmetic dressing. Everything you pick for your kit matters. And I think that's just so cool. Visuals and presentation, I think, really nice. The image quality is very clear and very impactful, and it's not very cinematic, but that's okay. I feel like a game like this doesn't need to be. Characters almost look kind of mannequin-like, but their gear is very accurate and grounded and highly readable. And what's really cool is the gore and the blood in the game serves a purpose, because you can lose a limb, you can lose a leg, like arm, your hand, your head, and it really goes to communicate the flow of the battle by seeing how injured your opponent is, right? And where you strike them also does matter, right? And blood loss is a thing. And this overall reinforces the game's brutal tone, which is really cool. And some things that's not so good is the performance. It's pretty hit or miss right now. When I put the demo, it wasn't that bad, but it feels a lot worse now. And I know they delayed the game already, but I feel like they should have delayed it even more so they can get this performance. Performance in the demo was pretty good, but now with the full release of the early access build, performance is kinda hit or miss. Like, simple encounters like 1v1s and like the free play mode run great, but whenever you're doing the abyss or the story mode, progression mode, that sort of thing, it's a lot more noticeable with their stutters and frame drops. It seems the game is extremely CPU bound due to its complex physics system, so a powerful GPU alone won't be able to save you here for this game, right? Which is a real shame, because I have friends who played the game, and one of them has like the equivalent of a 2070 at 1080p, and they can barely even hit 30 FPS on low graphics. And I have another friend who's also has a 2070 Super, and they're running at 1440p, and they're getting all over 60 FPS. So performance here really is on a spectrum right now, and it really just depends what CPU you have, right? I do recommend it, but, and there's a big but, only if you're sure your PC can run it, because I've seen on the Steam forums people reporting crashes. Just overall, the performance is really bad right now. So just keep that in mind if you plan on purchasing this game. I don't plan on doing a full review of the game. I don't think it's really in the cards for me right now. Got pretty busy right now in real life, but that's why this video is so short. But if you did enjoy this video, please subscribe, mean the world to me. I'll see you guys next time when I cover a different game. With that, peace out.